Today we're going to cover the top 3 most widely used tools, that being Zapier, Make, and N8N. Spoiler alert, as you can see from my screen, N8N is going to be the winner, and it's not even close. If you're a technical user and you don't have time for the full video, just go and sign up for N8N. But if you want to see a full comparison, stick around, because understanding why N8N wins is going to save you a lot of time and money in the long run. Now, if you're watching this video, you likely know what automation tools do already. And all of these 3 tools that we're going to discuss today, they all do the same thing on the surface. They connect your apps and they automate repetitive tasks, except there's some key differences between the 3. Instead of manually moving data between systems, these tools are going to do it for you, obviously. The difference in them isn't what they do, it's how they charge you, how far they can scale, and in some instances, the flexibility in the automations that they can do, and who actually controls your data. Okay, first up is Zapier. Now, give credit where credit is due. Zapier was one of the first ones on the scene, and it is really the tool that put automation on the map for small and medium businesses. Honestly, it's probably the simplest tool to use for a really non-technical user, and for simple automations, it's still really good. It's got a massive app library, 8,000 plus integrations. If your app or CRM exists, Zapier has most likely got a connection for it. It's been around a very long time, and a lot of Fortune 1000 companies use it. So, you can, in that way, you can consider it's legitimate. It's very well documented and supported, and there's a lot of online communities where you can get help if you need it. And really, for non-technical users, you can be up and running in minutes. If you've got a really simple automation, like you need to connect a form to your CRM, you really can't beat it. Where you start to see some downsides with Zapier, especially if you are more of a power user with really big automations, is that they charge per task. So you might have your automations or your workflows, which they call zaps. If they're quite simple, like this one is, it's just a form going into your CRM. It's quite quick and easy. It's not going to cost you too much. So each one of these is called tasks, where it has to actually do something. But if you're getting more complicated, like this one on their website in their video, where you've got a whole lot of steps, things start to add up really quickly. So a 10-step workflow running 1,000 times each month, that equals 10,000 tasks that you get billed for. So costs can add up really, really quickly. So for me, I would say Zapier is quite a good entry point if you've got some simple things to do, but it's going to get really expensive in the long term. Also, their logic is set up in such a way that you may find complex workflows are harder to build, where you might have to have multiple if-then sort of statements. But if you're not getting too complicated, for most businesses, if you've got something very simple, like forms going into your CRM, you may only need Zapier. Next, we move on to Make.com. Now, Make.com is where a lot of people land after they get their first Zapier bill. Really, because if you start building complicated workflows, your Zapier bill is going to get really big really quickly. They do have a nice visual builder. You still work on a canvas and you can see branching paths and different processes. It's quite good. They do have a little bit better logic than Zapier, but the main reason is because they are 3 to 5 times less than Zapier when you're doing the same sorts of volumes, which is, if you're doing a lot of automations between your CRMs and different things, especially if you're automating tasks and different things, if you've got a complicated sales process, you're going to save a lot of money. They also have a really generous free tier, which gives you 1,000 credits a month. So you can essentially get set up and test things for free before you start spending any money. The thing as well, though, with Make is they also charge by operation. So instead of tasks, they call them operations. Inside the dashboard, your workflows are called scenarios. Inside the scenarios, you have operations, and they still charge per operation. So while your bill will still grow, it's not going to grow as quickly as Zapier because, they're a lot cheaper. Make is aimed at more technical users. There is a bit of a steeper learning curve than Zapier. There's more advanced features like data mapping, error handling, and all sorts of things like that you need to get your head around. But it's a good upgrade overall from Zapier, and you'll definitely save some money if you've got complicated workflows. One thing also worth noting with both Zapier and Make.com is they both only operate a cloud model. Now, this brings us to the core problem with both Make and Zapier. Both platforms essentially penalize you for doing more. The better your automations get and the more complex they are, the more steps they have, the more you're going to be paying. So you're basically paying a tax on your own efficiency. And in a lot of cases, if you've got something really complicated, the cost just isn't going to be worth automating things. And there's really no way outside of that model. When it's the cloud model, it's cloud only, obviously. It's their infrastructure, it's their rules and their pricing. Now we get to N8N. And I believe N8N has completely changed the game in the automation space for a number of reasons. N8N came along and basically flipped the entire model. They've got two versions. The cloud version, which is the same as the other guys, except they run your workflow as an execution. You just pay per execution. So you don't pay for each task or each action inside your workflow, where that's where really the costs add up with the other two softwares. You just pay per execution, which really saves you money on your automations. Plus, they also have a self-hosted version, which you can run on your own server. And there you're only paying for the server. That's it. There's no per task or per execution fees. So when you're really running automation at scale, your automations can be 1,000 times cheaper. In my opinion, N8N is set up for the more technical user. They do have a lot of native integrations with a lot of apps, but they also have HTTPS nodes and different things like that, code nodes and different things that you can integrate directly with other apps that don't have a native integration. You can also use what they call code nodes to write JavaScript or Python directly into your workflows, so you can do some really advanced and custom functionality within your workflows. So there's a few different use cases and ways of using N8N that we can discuss. First, we'll look at self-hosting. There's a number of reasons why you may self-host N8N. One may be cost, one may be privacy. It's up to you. Now, if you are running a basic VPS, you're looking at, as low as $5 to $20 a month. Compared to Zapier, if you are doing large automations at scale, that's going to easily cost you $100, couple of hundred, maybe even $500 per month. Also, you may actually just want to be testing locally on your own computer. If you might just have some side projects you want to be testing out, you don't want to be paying subscriptions. It's good for building, experimenting on your own machine and just getting the hang of things. Also, if you're doing things, you may be testing things, with sensitive information, whether that's, sensitive client information, or you may be doing things in the crypto space, and that's something you don't want to be hosting in the cloud. N8N can be great for that if you want to self-host it, even if you're self-hosting it in your own office, not even in a VPS. It's really good for privacy in that way. So you have a whole lot of flexibility and lower costs when you self-host N8N. Keep in mind though, it's not a free-for-all. You can't just go and copy it and go and start selling it to customers and doing things like that. That's a breach of their license. But for personal use and just testing and doing different things, it's great. Now, for maximum reliability and uptime and lack of maintenance, and especially for mission-critical tasks, you're going to want to choose the cloud version of N8N. The pricing is really good. Like I said, you charge per execution. You get a lot of executions. It's even in the Pro plan here, it's really hard to hit the limits of this plan. We've got one of our businesses that's doing well into the 7 figures. We have 20 plus staff. We run N8N cloud extensively, syncing 2 CRMs, doing a whole lot of administrative things, and we are well within the Pro plan. The cloud plans are great for handling core business processes and mission critical operations where you really need things to go right. So for really anything mission critical in your business, I'd recommend the cloud version over self-hosted. This way you're not going to be up at 2 a.m. trying to fix servers and things are just going to keep working. But either way, you're going to want to choose N8N over Zapier or Make. So a common pathway has often been to go from Zapier to Make to N8N, and that certainly was my journey in automation, although I really didn't spend much time with Make.com. But look, if you want to skip the headaches and the extra cost, just go straight to N8N, particularly if you're a technical user. You're going to save a lot of money, and in my opinion, N8N is actually much more powerful and much more flexible than the other platforms. It's probably why N8N as a company is growing so fast at the moment, and they're hitting, the billion-dollar valuations as of last year. So to wrap it up there, if you're brand new to automation and you have some really simple automations that you need to do, a couple of steps, you just need a form to go into your CRM or something like that, Zapier is fine, and Zapier will teach you the basic concepts of automation. But once you start to get serious and you're doing really technical or really detailed workflows, you're going to want to go straight into N8N. It's just going to have more flexibility, less cost, and I think all round a better system than the other two. If you've got any questions about any of these systems, particularly about N8N, just leave them in the comments below. And over the next few weeks, we'll do a few videos on how to set up N8N on your own server, the best server setup that we can recommend, whether that's on a VPS or on your own system. And we might even show you some real world use cases that we use N8N in crypto, in our business, and different things. Like and subscribe to automate your business, and then watch the next video.